I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. Angelo Fragnarok joins us. Hi.
Hey, Eric, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay. Hello, my name is Angelo. I am your comfy, cozy, non-binary robot. I am a variety streamer. I like doing a bunch of different games, specifically Final Fantasy XIV. I've done Subnautica, and honestly, just kind of everything that doesn't scare me too much, I'm down for.
I can't blame you for that. I'm not a person who likes the horror genre. I don't mind watching other people getting scared, but I don't want to do it myself.
It's actually funny. I play. People hear me say I play Subnautica, and they're like, "Wait, you don't like horror?"
Right.
So, a funny story on that is my wife actually told me this game is great. You should totally play this. I'm like, okay. I like the water. I think it's a really fun game. It's my first survival, crafting, whatever game.
Right.
And I had a good time with it. She didn't tell me at all about the Leviathans at all. So, yeah, that was a fun experience. And that's in my VODs, by the way. The first time I screamed pretty good in the mic. And it was then that I learned that I play Subnautica differently than a lot of people. Because rather than trying to avoid the Leviathans after a bit, I started getting angry. It's like when you take somebody drinking and you think they're going to do one thing, but they end up being an angry drunk. That was me with the Leviathans. I was like, come here, I want to get you. And my wife was like, babe, you're supposed to be like scared. That's the whole point. I'm like, oh.
They pushed him too far.
The robot short-circuited.
Yeah, that's
They're
right.
not exposed to water.
Oh my gosh. I enjoy watching people play that, and it looks like something I might enjoy, but then I do see the Leviathans or something that they built that game so well, and they modified it a little bit as they went along, obviously, but they built that game so well where you should be able to beat it, but you're just going to get frustrated enough along the way to keep you angry.
Yeah, that's... You know, I gotta say, the first Subnautica game wasn't perfect, but I had a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I admit, when you get the prawn suit, it gets crazy because you actually have the ability to fight back, like really fight back. And I kind of went a little crazy with that. You could see it in my playthroughs. I started getting very aggressive with my prawn suit. But then I played the second game as well. I also played Below Zero, and I got to be honest, it's a more polished game in terms of like the building mechanics. It's not as glitchy and stuff.
Right.
But the game just wasn't as good in my opinion. Like in fact, the final episode was like, I must go. Their planet needs me was what I named the video for YouTube. And it's because there's two completely different storylines that you're supposed to do both, I guess.
Right.
But honestly, I just can't be bothered to do one of them, so I just did the other one, and there you go. I was done.
Yeah, it was. That's a really good analogy, because in watching people play that, it seemed like they enjoyed themselves, but then the ending didn't have a whole lot of taste to it. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, you kind of got led up to it, and that's the ending you're going to get no matter what.
Yeah, and Subnautica 1, it's like you got stranded on the planet, things are really bad and dire, and eventually, without spoilers, you figure it out, and it has a good logical conclusion.
Right.
Subnautica Below Zero is like, alright, so we're intentionally going back to this planet, which is weird, and we got this objective, and then the way to end the game is you can do that objective, but it's not even your main objective at that point.
Right.
It's a sub-objective, so it's just like, what was the point?
Why were you there in the first place?
Yeah, it's like, why would you submit yourself to that if that's not even the end game goal? What happened?
Yeah, it almost seemed unfinished. Is that a good way to put it?
It did. I actually heard that halfway through development of that one, that they like changed out directors, the writing staff, because this is wild to me when I did the deep dive on this, pun intended. They didn't realize that the first game, they weren't intending for it to be a horror game, and their directorial staff literally didn't understand that's what made it so appealing.
They didn't even know what they had.
They didn't. Like I read up in interviews, the reason they had a directorial staff change like halfway through the development was because the people that were like, guys, we're making a horror game. What are you doing? Where the management was like, wait, this is a horror game? No, we don't want a horror game. We want an action story driven experience.
Mm,
What?
yeah, with cute penguin like things. Yeah,
Oh, the penguins are adorable.
yeah, yeah. It played. It kind of lost a little bit of the appeal of the earlier game when it did that, and and again, you could kind of tell when some folks were playing the early versions of the game that it had a different ideas of what it wanted to do. And then it kind of lost that idea in the way it kind of Bethesda'd its way out.
Well, hey now, let's not go that low with it because I'm actually playing Fallout New Vegas on Twitch right now,
Oh
and
yeah,
I've played Fallout. I've played Fallout 4. I've played way more hours in Skyrim than I would like to admit.
yeah,
Um, and I hate to say it, but when I'm playing Fallout New Vegas, I do like the game, and it's not by Bethesda directly,
yeah,
but unfortunately, you can see where over time, as the games have gone along, they've added more stuff into what's this really big sandbox.
yeah.
So if you're playing an earlier title, there's these really big gaps of nothing.
Right, yeah, yeah. Do you have all the additions to it?
For Fallout New Vegas, I
Yeah,
do. In fact,
good.
I have a bit of a gripe on that because I play it on Xbox. I'm a or a Mac user primarily,
Right,
and so I have it on Xbox. And I learned when I went to fire the game up that there is not a complete edition on Xbox.
really?
You have to buy the game and then individually buy the add-ons.
Oh, that's a pain in the
I'm
wallet.
like, this game came out in 2010, people.
Yeah, yeah. Real. I mean, I just played it. I've played it myself several times. That may be about the high limit that I can Twitch play a game with that this
I
at
mean,
this
it's a
age.
great series.
But it's a lot of fun, and I've played it several times. Yeah, you're going to enjoy the whole experience, I think. There is one part that I've never gotten through, and I just disliked from the beginning. But you don't have to play all of them. You don't have to go through all of the scenarios, which is good because some of them are much better than others, obviously. Which ones have you gone through so far?
I haven't done any of the DLC stuff. This is actually my first time playing Fallout New Vegas,
Mm,
but I will say that I like the tone of the game a lot better than Fallout 4.
mm-hmm.
Like, I like first of all, I like that you're not a vault dweller. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it
That's
does.
that's a fresh take.
It does save you a lot of unnecessary prequel stuff.
True.
Yeah,
I also like, and in fact, I actually, my wife is my mod,
yeah,
and she clipped this when I was streaming it the other day. One of my redeems is a cute anime sound of going "ew," and it's like this whole thing, and I was laughing to it, and I was having a good time, and I was making fun of it, going "ew," and she's like, "No, you're ruining it." Well, I was laughing, and I turned a corner, and there was an invisible monster that literally came swinging a crowbar club at me, like with concrete on it,
yeah.
and I went, "Ew, oh god!" And it's a great clip. But she took it. I was just like, that was completely unintentional, unplanned. But I'd never seen monsters like that in Fallout. So it was like, okay, they didn't just go with the boilerplate. They're adding new stuff.
Oh
That's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah, yeah. Mom, I refuse to spoiler anything for you because you're going to enjoy it quite a bit. Um, but it is something that you're able to string everything together and learn as you go. There's going to be some new stuff in there you're going to like. Um,
Oh, and can I say, I love what they did with the Mr. Gutsies. Mr.
yes,
Gutsies in Fallout 4 were like cute and weird.
yeah.
And these ones, the first one I came across was like, come here, you commie, for America. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah, they're definitely gutsy.
I thought I stepped into Helldivers for a minute there.
Oh my gosh, that's a there you're talking a whole nother category as far as that goes. Have you done anything in those types of games? I guess they're a whole nother genre now, the Helldivers type games.
Not yet. I have been wanting to so bad. I've got a bunch of friends that play.
Yeah,
It's a matter of finding time and like scheduling. I would love to play something like that in multiplayer.
yeah. Oh, it looks crazy. It looks fun, frustrating, and it looks like you die a lot. At least I will.
Yeah, the humor is the biggest thing for me. Like
Yeah,
the way the game is written and everything, that is so my thing. I'm a huge Starship Troopers fan,
yeah.
and I just heard it from a mile away the first time I watched somebody play it, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it does look like a lot of fun. I mean, they've kind of taken that Lethal Company thing, and they've kind of expanded that a couple different ways with that, and was it content warning? I guess is kind of that sort of thing.
Yeah, the new one that came out.
Yeah, it's they've taken the party game aspect of some of these games, and then added the extreme violence part to it. And it's just so over the top. It's just fun to watch, and I imagine it's fun to play. But it's more fun to play if you're just worried, not so much worried about getting the actual job done. That would be.
Yeah, that games that you can derail like that and just have a good time, I think it makes it fun.
Yeah,
And I'm not big into horror, and
right.
this isn't a dig at anything, but I've watched so many people play Outlast, and I love watching people react to it, and I will never play it. But then I saw Outlast Trials and everybody talking about it, and I watched some of it. I'm like, feels like you kind of missed the point a little bit.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes game developers they go for the quick cash a little bit. Yeah, you know, and people enjoy that without enjoying Outlast. Really, I mean, it's
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's a way to grab an audience, and it's that word marketing that I use on occasion. But um, it's it, audiences are all over the place, and I'm sure you found that out a little bit while you're streaming. Um,
Well, I feel like that is perfectly okay because I too am all over the place. So
so when did you get started?
I've actually been streaming for a little over a year now. My
Yeah,
1 year affiliate anniversary is actually coming up in July.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Um, it's funny how I started streaming because I'm an old timer. I'll just be honest. Um, I'll give my real life age, even though that's supposedly taboo, whatever. But I'm 38 this year, and let me say, as somebody that's been gaming my entire life,
uh-huh.
the idea of making content, not just making content, of playing video games with more than just a friend on a couch
Hmm.
is a dream.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And I was like, well, I don't really have the time, and maybe I'll get to it. And yeah, but it's so expensive, and I don't want to show my face. And I just went through a whole long denial list of why I was not suited for this.
yeah.
And a little bit of a trigger warning on this, but the thing that actually spurred me on to start was a good friend of mine, Sleepy Sakura. She's a precious person. She's really sweet,
Hmm.
and I've been a big fan of hers for a long time. I've been in her stuff, but she had, and again, trigger warning on this. She had a really close friend that had a disability like herself.
Hmm.
Well, different disability, but also disabled.
Right.
And that person unfortunately passed away,
Oh,
leaving a bunch of stuff that was in the works that didn't get finished and all that stuff. And she just made a really impassioned speech. She's just like, this is what frustrates me. That person had so much potential
mm,
and they were doing some of it, but they didn't commit to it all the way. She's like, so if you feel like you wanted to do something, then just go do it. You
right,
don't know when the clock runs out.
right. Exactly.
And that's what inspired me to start, honestly. And, in character concept design, you might be asking, well, why am I a robot?
Mm,
And things of that nature. Well, it's kind of twofold, really.
hmm.
One is that I didn't really know who I was in terms of gender identity and stuff like that
Hmm.
because I didn't have time to think about it in my real life forever.
Right.
And after considering it, I'm like, they, them actually applies to me more.
Hmm.
And so that was one part of the identity.
Right.
And the other one was in lore, Angelo is a restored memory or a continued consciousness of a physical person that did exist but no longer does, unfortunately.
Right.
And that's why I started this character the way I did, was because this is a fresh start. This is me starting from ground zero, learning who I am, and other people can learn with me who I am from the ground up.
Cool. That really kind of it almost sounds like you kind of fell into it, but but I mean you made the choice to do it, but it fit you like a glove once you found it.
It did, and I'll be honest. I know the VTuber space is highly competitive and everything, and there's been many temptations of wanting to redesign and stuff because there's a number of reasons why it's difficult to find an audience when you don't have a stereotypical humanoid shape and all that stuff.
Well, yeah.
But through it all, I realized that yeah, but this is the core of my identity.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I'm not making, huge numbers and I'm not super popular or honestly super entertaining, I'm
Stop
still
that.
doing this because I'm having fun with it.
Stop
And
that,
because
superintendent.
I'll
And
find more people.
stop that because you obviously are entertaining. People are coming to watch. So stop. I'm even older than you are, so I can tell you to what to do. Stop. I tell
Okay,
you,
okay.
I I uh, I congratulate you for finding this at an age where a lot of people um, don't look at that age, frankly, and you've been able to kind of help define yourself in the process a little bit, from what I'm gathering, which is a neat that you're able to do that at this point. Um, maybe it did you find that it was something that you needed in your life to kind of define yourself in that way?
It actually was something that important to me, and my wife is transgender, and she's out with that, and
Mhm.
she's okay with me telling that.
Mhm.
But part of it was actually in her personal journey and learning, watching her learn to find herself, realizing along the way that I didn't know who I was. I
Right.
had gone through my life just functionally getting things done,
Hmm.
but never really feeling like I was the person I thought I was.
Hmm.
And when I started doing some deep diving on it, that's when I kind of realized that, the reason I picked a robot as my form, one, for the lore reason of starting as a fresh new consciousness, but two, robots are interesting that they can reconfigure. Like, Angelo is in a masculine or assumed masculine look right now with the blue jacket and stuff.
Right.
But at the same time, what if I had a redesign I did where now Angelo is wearing dresses and idol outfits and things of that nature?
Hmm.
It's feasible.
Well,
It's
certainly,
entirely within the realm of possibility.
it's just a new program.
Yeah, it's a new body, new program, and that's why I was like, this feels right for me as a they them, because I don't necessarily lean to one side or the other
Right.
in real life.
Right. And well, I tell you, I'm unfortunately, I'm gonna get. I rarely get on a soapbox like this on these interviews, but I'll get on a little bit one here. For my generation, which is a lot older than your generation, you guys, um, it's tough for us to recognize this sort of thing and what it means to someone who's gone through it, and the courage that you and your partner have both gone through to discover yourselves and each other in the process. Um, but I personally think if as long as you are happy and you are happy in who you are at this moment, and you're happy together, I am happy for you.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
and I really do think it takes a lot of uh, introspective, and it takes a lot of backbone to not just do that privately, but also show everybody else, here I am, and you know, up yours if you can't deal with it. Basically,
What?
it it really does for me show a lot of courage. And I know a lot of people my age, because I'm nearing 60 at this point, don't, and then you've probably seen it and heard it. Don't think that way. But you know what? That's that's their fault, not mine. Um,
Yeah.
so congratulations on that. And here you've got a chance to kind of um, build a foundation for that with what you're doing online too. That's really cool.
Oh, thank you. And absolutely. That's another key component that I came to realize really quickly when I decided that I want to start streaming and the model idea was in my head was not just a declaration of who I am. It's not, it didn't initially start quite that way.
Mm-hmm.
It was more just I felt comfortable being this way online as well as in real life.
Mm-hmm.
But I quickly realized, as it happened to be around Pride Month when I first started paying attention to this, that there was kind of I don't want to say an underrepresentation, but not really much of a vocal audience, a vocal megaphone to showcase people that are of the Pride community.
Right.
And that's kind of one of the things that I found in my community on the Fragnabots was the idea that, we're very inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Like very inclusive. If you are part of the spectrum of pride, please by all means you're welcome. And it's actually explicitly in the Discord rules, channel rules, all of the rules that I can put anywhere
Mm-hmm.
that we don't tolerate, the racism, homophobia, bigotry, all those things. Check them at the door. We don't want that. We want to share positivity and uplift people, not tear them down.
I've got enough deadly sins. I don't need those too. No, that's
And
that's that's good stuff.
and I gotta say too, I'm actually been fortunate. Maybe it's because I'm still on the small side, or maybe I'm just that lucky, which my wife tells me I am. But we actually haven't had many issues with people like that.
Yeah.
The Discord's been very, very cool.
Yeah.
People have come in, they've been talking, chatting, and haven't had to mod anybody out. And other than bots showing up in the Twitch chats and stuff,
Right.
haven't really had to do anything there either.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of people are a lot of people are so insecure of themselves that they have to attack other people to let themselves feel better. So that's probably about 130% of what you would probably get as far as that goes to start with. Some of us are old enough to where we just figure it out.
Well, and that again, being older at not quite to your age, but you know what I'm saying with this.
I know what you're
Being
saying.
older, it's not good.
I know what you're saying. He's saying he's an old man. He shouldn't be doing any of this stuff.
No, 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 no. Don't cancel me. But no, I was just saying that I try to keep a bit of an open mind. Like there's definitely a difference in people that are flaming that really truly believe what they do and you cannot change their mind and they will just die on that cross.
Mm,
And then there's people that maybe don't understand and you could teach them.
right.
And I try to keep my ears and my eyes open for those people, not because I'm trying to convert people or whatever you want to say about it, but just to educate people.
Yeah. And there's always, still folks are just common being nice to people. That helps. And,
Hmm.
and it really just comes down to that for a lot of folks. Just it empathy goes a long way, and unfortunately, there's not as nearly enough of it these days. But
Well,
I'm really glad you've been able to find this and continue, even as you're getting up to our age. Continue to continue to enjoy yourself and to be yourself, and that is wonderful. I applaud you for that.
thank you.
Yeah, and
Well, I mean, it's one of those things that I recognize due to day job commitments and stuff. I can't stream every single day and all that, but I want to make the most of the time that I do get to have with people. So, keeping positive energy and trying to crack jokes and trying to just be a nice levity space for people to hang out is just what my vibe is. It's what I try to put out there in the world.
now, folks, you're gonna have the links that you can see what Angelo's got going on in the description for the interview. It has been a wonderful pleasure to talk to you and to meet you. Say hello to the wife for me, and I'll try to say hello to mine too, if she'll let me. uh,
Well,
Thanks for
hopefully you
coming.
guys are on good terms, but thank you very much for the interview time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll have you on again soon. Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.